Yo, what's up, folks? This Impact, and I want to take this time to welcome you back to the Hurt Business 101. Let's get right into this video, man. Today's video, I want to talk about a fight in the lightweight division that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to this one more than I was looking forward to the Tank Davis-Ryan Garcia fight, and that is Frank the Ghost Martin versus Shakur Stevenson. Let's get into this one. This one is going to be a banger. And although it's not a huge mega fight, this is a really good fight that can help clear up a lot in the lightweight division. And I want to talk about that one right now. I'm going to start off talking about Frank Martin. Frank Martin is a really, really good fighter. He has a lot in his arsenal. He has a lot to him, in a lot of depth as a fighter. And the reason why I'm so impressed with Frank Martin is because how late he started boxing. You're going to be hard-pressed to find a guy that can start boxing at the late age he started boxing at, around 18 years old, to be able to show the type of discipline, hard work, and determination to be as good as he is with such a limited boxing experience. It's ridiculous. It's hard for people that didn't box to really fathom it, or people who haven't spent a lot of time in gyms where you've seen guys come and seen guys go over and over and over again, and you get a chance to really see how the process is, guys trying to develop themselves in the gym. But Frank Martin has everything. He can work from the outside. He can work from the inside. He can work from the mid-range. He has a nice defense. He has good punch variation. He lets off creative combos. He knows how to turn guys. He knows how to slip. He knows how to control real estate in the ring. He's tough. He has heart, the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still don't know exactly how deep that rabbit hole goes with him, but I know he has a lot of depth there. And you know, the problem I see in this fight for him, you know what I mean? Because he has a lot of everything. And if he started boxing at 5 years old and he was as good as he is, I would still be impressed. And that just goes to show you the level that he's on. You know what I'm saying? But the difference I see in this fight, the difference is going to be exactly what I just talked about in Frank Martin with him starting boxing late. I think this is the fight where it's going to come back to rear its ugly head. And that's against Shakur Stevenson, because Frank Martin started boxing at 18. By 18 years old, Shakur Stevenson was going to the Olympics, where he ultimately won a silver medal. Okay? And if you want to go back and, you know, and look at his box records, Wikipedia and stuff like that, you can see all the accomplishments Shakur Stevenson had in his amateur boxing career, and it will give you an idea of the different level of experience that we're dealing with here. And this is where I'm going to talk about, and excuse me if I get a little too deep for some, but if you need to get a notepad out, take some notes from this one, feel free, because this is important information. I speak of this thing in a way that I haven't heard anybody kind of break it down before. And when I look at boxing sometime, when I look at the experience of a guy, I like to take a look at what I call the boxing library that a fighter has. Now, the boxing IQ is something where a fighter is just being a smart fighter. He knows when to step on the gas, when to throw certain punches, what times not to throw certain punches. He thinks his way through it. He has a high boxing IQ. He's not going to make a whole lot of dumb mistakes. You know what I mean? Like leaving his feet and things like that, and crossing his feet. And he's going to have a lot of situational awareness and stuff like that. That's the boxing IQ, being able to think your way through. The library is built of all the experiences a fighter has gained. I talked about Shakur Stevenson with this background in the amateurs. Now, Frank Martin only was in about 3 tournaments as an amateur. He was fast-tracked. He had to be fast-tracked because, you know, starting at 18, he had to get things going and get his career started. And he did one hell of a job. Now, Shakur Stevenson started very young. You know what I mean? When you got like a grandfather that's fighter, you come from a fighter family, that's all oftentimes going to happen. You're going to start as a baby. You know what I'm saying? And with Shakur, when I talk about the boxing library, I talk about all the things he's been through. He's been through all this international competition. He's fought guys from all over the world. He's seen so many different styles from the Eastern Europeans like Ukraine and all that stuff. He's seen Japan. He's seen them from, he's seen fighters from Europe. He's seen fighters from Asia. He's seen guys from the Philippines. He's seen African guys from every part of the globe. He's faced opposition. It's not just how many different places he's fought guys from, it's how many sequences he's seen. As the library is building, all the sequences you've seen, all the situations you've been in, all the movements you've seen, all of these details come into place when it comes to building your boxing library. And the boxing library is what allows a fighter to be able to do things without thinking about them, because the brain has processed so many different movements, seen so many different scenarios play out, so many different sequences take place, so many different exchanges, so many different styles, so all these different approaches all store into the brain. And this is how your library is built up. So obviously the more experience and the more diverse your experience is, you're going to have a deeper library. And he's going to be able to do things without thinking about them. Whereas though I said Frank Martin has a high boxing IQ, he's smart in there and he knows what to do and when. But it comes into play in rounds 6 through 12 when the emotion of the fight settles down. The adrenaline of the fighters come down. Fatigue starts to set in a bit. The more instinctual fighter that has that library, and not only having that library, there's levels. So there's levels. Everyone has a library, but not everyone has the same depth in their library. And the more special guys, and when I get to the levels right now, this is where you can really see the cream rise to the top. It's the guys that have the library, that's able to access the library, able to use the information that they access instantaneously without taking a long time to process it. So you just able to access it and make the adjustment and deliver on the fly. You ever seen a guy who a guy will make mistakes during the fight, and then the fighter can't really adjust, but then maybe the next time he fight him in a rematch, he'll make adjustments and he may be able to come out and win. Okay, he's taking things in. He may have to go back and watch it to figure it out and then use his experience to come through. Or he may have just gotten it near the end of the fight, and then the second fight he's able to remember everything that went on and kind of fight his way through it. When the real special guys that have those libraries are able to see things almost before they happen. You ever see a fighter fight and you be like, yo, it's like every time he get ready to do something, he's on him. Before he even gets it out, he's on it already. Or he's moved out of the way already. That's the library. That's the library, his ability to process the information and counteract all during the fight and during those moments when it's happening. It's not always taking him round to round to figure it out, or taking him several rounds to figure it out, or even rematches to figure it out. Because they're able to process, access the information, make adjustments on the fly. And that's where the difference in this fight is going to come in. The second half of this fight is where I can really see Shakur start to pull away, because Shakur is going to be doing things without thinking about them. And as Frank Martin starts to fatigue and he starts trying to answer questions, that's where the experience will come in. That's where the library, that's when the instincts, and that's where the levels will come into play. So I do have Shakur Stevenson winning this fight. And I think the first half of the fight is going to be very entertaining. And I believe the whole fight will be entertaining, because I actually think we're going to a decision. But I believe Shakur Stevenson will win this fight by a decision. And I believe it's going to really turn the second half of the fight from 6 through 12 because of the things I just talked about. And that's taking nothing away from Frank Martin. And guess what? Even if Frank Martin loses this fight, I don't believe losing a fight like this hurts his stock one bit, as long as he goes out there and shows and represents himself well, and leaves it all out there and performs at the performs at the level I know he's capable of performing. He would still be able to not take a step back. Of course, you take a step back as far as your place in line. But as far as his career, he'll continue to just progress, and this won't hurt him one bit. And I'm glad he's willing to step in there and take this challenge now, as well as Shakur Stevenson. So my prediction is Shakur Stevenson by decision, in a really a really entertaining and cerebral fight in the first half, to him ultimately overcoming it in the second half and putting on a clinic down the stretch. You may even see him picking Martin apart, and Martin in his corner may be asked to answer some tough questions late. But ultimately, I do believe Frank Martin finds a way to pull through this, the rough second half of this fight. And even if he doesn't, he still gets my respect and he still can push on. But this is a really good fight, and I'm really looking forward to it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the Hurt Business 101. And you know what they say, there's no business like show business. But I say it's no business like the hurt business. 1-0-1, done.